What's up, everyone out there in YouTube world, social media world, the world? Thank you for tuning in to another edition of Musings with MGL. I am, of course, MGL. Today, we're going to talk about crazy California and the crazy new stuff that they're doing out there in places in California, and something that might be coming to a town near you, depending on where it ends up on the legal spectrum. So before I get into it, please, as always, like and subscribe to my channel. If you like what you see here, please hit the subscribe and the notification bell, ding ding, so that you can follow up on all my content. I'd really like to earn your subscription today. I'd really like to build up my channels. As you see, social media is out there doing a lot of things to shut down, conservative channels and people with opinions that they don't like. So the more channels like mine that are out there, I think the better it's going to be for our community. So please like and subscribe and tell all your friends about me if you like my content. So today we're going to bring you an article, a topic from San Jose, California. Again, everybody's favorite state and one of the favorite cities of everybody in that state. And basically, so I'll just give it to you in a nutshell and I'll tell you what it all means. A California city voted Tuesday night to require gun owners to carry liability insurance in what is believed to be the first measure of its kind in the United States. The San Jose City Council overwhelmingly approved the measure despite opposition from gun owners who said it would violate their Second Amendment rights and promised to sue. The Silicon Valley city of about 1 million followed a trend of other Democratic-led cities that have sought to rein in violence through stricter rules. But while similar laws have been proposed, San Jose is the first city to pass one, according to Brady United, a national nonprofit that advocates against gun violence. So here's what this means. What it means is, if you live in the city of San Jose and you want to possess a firearm, you have to buy liability insurance. That way, if that firearm is used in an accident or anything along those lines, a child gets a hold of it and shoots themselves, then you will have to have liability insurance to cover that. Council members, including several who had lost friends to gun violence, said it was a step toward dealing with gun violence that Councilman Sergio Jimenez called a scourge on our society. Having liability insurance would encourage people in the 55,000 households in San Jose who legally own at least one registered firearm, California, to have gun safes, install trigger locks, and take safety gun classes, the mayor said. The liability insurance would cover losses or damages resulting from any accidental use of the firearm, including death, injury, or property damage, according to the ordinance. If a gun is stolen or lost, the owner of the firearm would be considered liable until the theft or loss is reported to authorities. Now, if somebody steals your gun or you lose your gun, you should probably report that. But that doesn't mean you should be liable just because it hasn't been reported. However, gun owners who don't have insurance won't lose their guns or face any criminal charges, the mayor said. The council also voted to require gun owners to pay an estimated $25 fee, which would be collected by a yet-to-be-named nonprofit and doled out to community groups to be used for firearm safety, education and training, suicide prevention, domestic violence, and mental health services. So they're also going to require you to give them more money, and they are going to give that money to groups who oppose your position on guns. Broad gun control plan, an hour-long meetings. You cannot tax a constitutional right. This does nothing to reduce crime, one speaker said. The measure didn't address the massive problem of illegally obtained guns that are stolen or purchased without background checks, which is always an issue when it comes to these type of things. Some speakers argued that the law would face costly and lengthy court challenges, but before the vote, Sam Paradis, executive director of Gun Owners of California, said his group would sue if the proposal takes effect, calling it totally unconstitutional in any configurations. So there you have it. So they want to have liability insurance if you're going to have a gun in your house. Now, it is kind of confusing then, because if it says that you don't lose your gun rights if you don't have it or face criminal charges, then I guess we're talking fines. The article doesn't really go into say what that is. So my guess is it's going to be something like a civil infraction. So it's similar to if you're driving your motorcycle or your motor vehicle without insurance. Some states that is a crime in some states to drive a vehicle without insurance, but some states it's not. It just subjects you to civil penalties and fines and suspension of your driver's license, things of that nature. So I don't know, maybe it just has a fine attached to it, but that still doesn't make any sense to me. And it's still something that you can't require people to do because, again, the difference is, and I get this all the time when I go speak at places, is, well, we register cars and people have insurance for cars. Why can't we do that for guns? Well, because cars aren't in the damn Constitution, number one. You can't. There's no constitutional right to own a car. There's a constitutional right to own a firearm. So you can't put insurance. You can't put restrictions on that that require people to pay more for insurance. I mean, it's going to be challenged. I would imagine it's not going to go anywhere. Ultimately, it's going to be probably upheld by some liberal judge in California. It'll probably be upheld by the Ninth Circus Court of Appeals out there. But if this did end up in the Supreme Court, I'm highly confident that they would overturn it because, again, there's no precedent for that for a constitutional right. Even if you look at something like Obamacare that required everybody to get insurance or pay a tax penalty, that wasn't taxing a right. You don't have a right to have insurance, so it was a little bit different. But look, that Supreme Court in that case under John Roberts ruled that was a tax, and therefore it was constitutional. So is it possible you could get some weird ruling like that says, look, this is just a tax. It's no different than requiring something like a permit or a fees to get a gun in the first place. So who knows where it's going to go, but brought to you from your crazy friends in California. If you live in the city of San Jose, you are now required to purchase liability insurance for your firearm. So it's going to be tried in lots of other counties and cities as well. And again, keep an eye on this one because if they are going to do a legal challenge to this, and it'll be interesting to see where it shakes out, because if this is something that somehow survives a legal challenge or constitutional muster, that's going to be a problem for a lot of us out there, because you're going to see a lot more of these liberal places try and put these into effect, and that could end up being costly. It's like anything else. What does this law do? It only attacks poor people, because if you're rich and can afford the insurance, what do you care? If you're poor and can't afford the insurance, now the government is leaving you defenseless based on your economic status, which I think is a really good way to challenge a law like that. Not just that it's an unconstitutional infringement on your Second Amendment right, I would also say it's a violation of due process, because it creates a burden on economically challenged people, or whatever, people don't make as much money as opposed to the rich and the wealthy people. So it'd be an interesting thing to keep an eye on. I just wanted to bring you up to date on some crazy stuff they're doing out there in California. So keep an eye on this one. Obviously, if things happen with it, I'll keep you posted. I'll be doing videos on it. But it's just another reason why we need to be vigilant about our Second Amendment, because every chance they get, they're going to try and attack it. So thanks for watching the video. Like, share, subscribe, etc., etc. Everybody out there, stay safe, stay healthy, stay vigilant, and as always, carry on.